yeah, there will be a little bit of a lack of videos from after Christmas until the start of January, when I go back to work, which I think is the 5th of Jan. So yeah, I hope you guys are okay with that. But yeah, let's just get started. This intro has been long enough already. Okay. This first one is from Radiant-Ad-1363. As always, the links will be in the description to all of these. It's titled, "Will I be the a-hole if I told my family I will not be coming down for Christmas after excluding me from a family cruise?" Here's a little background information. I, 26 female, have 2 kids, 4 years and 6 months with my boyfriend, 34 male, and we've been together about 5.5 years. When I was 19, I moved about 9 hours away, and once I had kids, I started going back to my hometown for the holidays, so my grandma and my family could see my kids. Last year, I didn't make it home as I was 35 weeks pregnant and graduating college. My grandma turns 80 next year, and my family decided to go on a family cruise to Alaska, and me and my partner are the only ones not invited. I found out about the cruise from my uncle who lives about 30 minutes away from me last December, and that I was not included. I texted my sister and my aunt about how I was hurt that I wasn't included and what the deal was. No answer. So I called my grandma. Well, she was very vague about the whole thing, and I guess it was a surprise for her birthday. 1 second, guys. I've just realized. That I had the microphone on this setting again from when I was doing something else with it. I'm so sorry. But yeah, let's carry on. I thought it sounded different and I couldn't figure out why. Where were we? So I called my grandma. Well, she was very vague about the whole thing, and I guess it was a surprise for her birthday, which I did not know. If I had, I would have never said anything to her. Anyways, my aunt and sister eventually tell me that they were just waiting till after Christmas to invite me, and that I was included. Well, Christmas came and went, and I never received any information on it. Also, at my graduation / baby sprinkles, when your new baby turns, baby sprinkles is baby sprinkles like a baby shower. Is that something different? I don't know what that is. Also, at my graduation / baby sprinkles, my aunt tells me, well, instead of the family cruise, we are gonna send you on a Disney cruise when your new baby turns 4. Which I thought was weird because how does that equate to the same as a family cruise? And also I can afford to send myself and my family on our own Disney cruise if we wanted to do that. I literally took my family to Disney World earlier that October. Anyways, I recently went back home so my family could meet the new baby, and the cruise gets brought up multiple times. And now the excuse is, well, this isn't respect that, and I would find childcare or I would not go. But I still believe that should be my decision to make. 2. Even if it wasn't adult only, I probably still wouldn't bring an 18-month-old and an almost 5-year-old on the cruise. I might, but I probably wouldn't. It would depend on a lot of things. But again, I feel like that should be my decision. No, I do not dump my kids on other people or take advantage to any extra help. Also, no, my kids do not have terrible behaviour. They are very normal and do age-appropriate things, but I am a very active parent. Christmas, but I didn't want to attend an additional early December family tradition because I was feeling overwhelmed and needed rest. When I told my sister this by text, I was polite and said that the traditions can sometimes feel heavy for me, but that I was happy to come for Christmas and help with the organisation. She responded by saying that inconvenience is the price of community, and implied that I wasn't prioritising family. I replied emotionally that this felt like a one-sided definition of community, one where I'm expected to show up consistently without the same effort in return. She got very upset, told me what I said was heartbreaking, listed every favour she's done for me since I arrived in France in 2009, and then blocked me. After that, I realised I didn't feel able to sit at a Christmas dinner, pretending everything was fine. Interactions with her have been overwhelming for me lately, and being blocked made it impossible to talk things through. I decided not to attend Christmas and instead spent it with a close friend who has shown up for me consistently during a very difficult year. I haven't told my older sister yet, as I wanted to let things cool down before reopening the conversation. I did inform my other sister. I recognized that I resented my sisters for not showing up for me, even though I didn't clearly ask for it at first, and that by the time I did speak up, I had already had built up resentment. I've also been mentally keeping score of what I've done versus what they haven't, which isn't healthy. That said, I feel like I only asked for my limits to be respected, just as I've respected theirs for so many years. So am I the a-hole for skipping Christmas after setting these boundaries? No, absolutely not. The OP seems very, very sensible, very mature, and very self-aware, especially at the end, stating that they know that holding this resentment and keeping tally isn't healthy and it's not helping and stuff like that, because it's not. But like, also at the same time, I understand it because it's hard not to, especially when the other person is denying the situation, like, oh, well, I've done this for you, and it's not like that kind of thing. You feel the need to remember everything so that the next time it's brought up, you can be like, well, no, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, it's not healthy to keep hold of it and tally it up in your head, because it just makes you feel so much worse. Definitely not the a-hole. You've showed up for so many years, even when it's been very difficult, and pretty much never have they shown the same effort when you've asked for it. I feel like you shouldn't have to clearly ask for people to put the same in as what they take. Like, I feel like there should be common decency to try and, give back or treat them how you need. I'm struggling to convey what I mean. Yeah, not the a-hole. Somebody said, not the a-hole. Setting boundaries isn't rejecting family, especially when the effort hasn't been mutual. You communicated calmly, she escalated and blocked you. It's reasonable to step back and protect your peace instead of said. That's the Christmas arrangement. We were supposed to spend time together, but he came back about 3 hours later because his mother had visitors and he wanted to catch up. He sat watching TV and gave me zero affection. He gave me his present, which, to be honest, I would have preferred not to get anything. I'm not a drinker. He got me a small bottle of wine that I've seen marked at $3 to $5 at the 7-Eleven. I know I wasn't at my best because he said my face changed. He has a job. He could have gotten something actually thinking of me. I felt horrible when he said he would give me an IOU and then the rest of my present was in his pants. I ignorantly thought it was some game. Maybe he had a small gift inside his pants. Nope, I was supposed to take his boy parts as a gift. I was furious. It was cheap, and while I'm very sexual, it wasn't sexy. It felt vulgar. I asked him to leave and thanked him for giving me the worst Christmas and took back my present. I cried after he left, and when he texted me if I was okay, I broke up with him and blocked him. His siblings have been trying to reach me. I've blocked them all. One of them accused me of being materialistic and shallow, and also said that not everyone has a fancy job and that I'm unfair for expecting a certain level of gifting. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. The top comment says, you didn't break up with him because you're materialistic. You broke up with him because he showed you his disdain, contempt, dislike, disrespect, and disregard for you. And once they show it, there's no coming back from that. Literally, like, he had no respect from the start. He came in, made fun of you multiple times. He didn't even text you to update you to say, like, oh, I'll be a bit later. He just didn't care. And then, like, he got you such a shit gift. You don't even drink, and he got you the cheapest wine ever. I can think of a million things he could have got for $3 to $5 that she would have preferred, and I'm sorry, but even with a wage gap, you can afford more than $3 on your girlfriend for Christmas. Like, you can. You definitely can. So that just shows that he doesn't care. He just picked whatever he found cheapest on the shelf so that he could say that he got her a gift. And then the comment that he made was gross. Gross, gross, gross. Gross. Man, am I right? Okay, let's move on. There was one that was very similar to that. There was one that was very similar to that. So I don't think I'll read it, but it was basically something similar, saying the guy bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of sex toys as a gift for his girlfriend when he knew she wasn't interested in them, and they were all like butt stuff themed when he knew she wasn't okay with trying that, like she didn't want to, and he just like wasn't respectful with their boundaries and didn't get her anything nice, and knew that they would be opening gifts in front of family. So I'm not gonna read that one, but yeah, this seems to be a few with the partners giving really shitty gifts that either they just don't care or it's all about them kind of thing. Like, he didn't get those stuff us we were better off without him, but he avoided child support, even though my mum chased him through the courts for years. He never paid. I always hated him. I always hoped he'd die at some point and would never be able to fuck up our lives again. My siblings didn't really talk about him, and neither did I. Though we didn't talk about what he did to my mum and the bad stuff I remembered outside of that. Though we did talk about, sorry. There were 2 times, years ago, when they asked Mum and she answered their questions in the best way she knew how. When my mum died, my siblings were both under 18, so I moved them in with me, and we made it work. I also helped them go to college, which is what they wanted. I was finally able to afford a nice place for myself, and I always welcomed them to stay with me if we needed to, and it was clear I would be hosting Christmas for us for at least a few years. This year wasn't an exception, and they arrived yesterday morning. We hung out all day, and they mentioned a hotel, and I asked if they had rooms in one, but they said no, that they thought we should go to a hotel restaurant one of these days. But they were acting off, and by 11 p.m. last night I found out why. They reached out to the guy who made us and had a relationship with him, and they knew I didn't want one, but decided to invite him to my home for Christmas. They told me they wanted us to be a family. I said no, and I told them I was never letting that man into my life. They said I can't avoid him while they have a relationship, and to give it a chance, and it's Christmas and family. I told them to stop and that he will never be my family. They told me he was in a hotel room waiting to come today for Christmas Day dinner. We argued, and they told me I needed to give this a chance and that he's my dad. I told them I wanted nothing from that man and I wish he'd died and left us the hell alone. They told me it's horrible to wish someone dead and that he was coming whether I wanted him to or not. I kicked them out and told them none of them are welcome, and I said if he fucks them over or beats them or threatens them, which he did to me when I was just a little kid, then they should not come to me because I wouldn't pick up the pieces. I said they know what he did and they still want him, and they went behind my back and I would not celebrate with them or fix this for them. They didn't expect it and argued that I couldn't cancel Christmas and we're family and I couldn't leave them to the streets. They had the chance to join him at the hotel or to drive back to campus overnight. I told them that. They texted a bunch but I didn't reply and I woke up a while ago to tomorrow them. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. I'm gonna read the top comment because it's, yeah. If they thought you would have been okay with it, they wouldn't have waited until Christmas Eve night to tell you. Not the a-hole, you are justified in what you said, and they have no right to give you zero choice in the matter. That is so out of line. Unfortunately, they get what they deserve now. They are free to give them the time of day if they wish, but to force it on you is something else entirely, especially on Christmas Day. Sorry, but as siblings go, that is the absolute worst and most ungrateful and selfish act they could do. Yeah, especially since the OP finished raising them after their mum died and sent them to college and gave them a place to come for Christmas and stuff year after year. Especially when the siblings have been told as well how shitty the dad was previously. They should know that the sister would want nothing to do with him. So yeah. last year. So here's the situation. Last year, I, 30 male, made plans to go home for Christmas to spend the holidays with my family. But when I got there, it quickly became clear that they weren't really happy to have me there. They pretty much ignored me the entire time, didn't include me in any of the family activities, and I spent most of the time in my old room, just feeling like a stranger in my own house. The worst part was when they went out for Christmas dinner and didn't even invite me. I ended up spending Christmas alone, eating takeout, and feeling completely abandoned. This year they've invited me back, but honestly I don't want to go. I told them that I don't feel welcome and I'm not interested in repeating last year's experience. They've been reaching out, saying that they want to make things right and that things will be different. But I'm not sure I believe it. I've already made plans with some friends who actually care about me. And I'm excited to spend the holiday with people who actually want me around. Now they're upset with me, calling me petty and saying I'm holding a grudge. They think I should just get over it and come home, but I just feel like I shouldn't have to beg for their approval or be treated like an outsider in my own family. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to go home for Christmas after how they treated me last year? Absolutely not. Not the a-hole. That is absolutely so out of pocket for them to treat you like that. And you've made plans already to spend Christmas with people who care about you, and I would definitely stick to that. When he responded with, "It's Father's Day," I used his response back, "You are not my father." I had anticipated him getting upset and knew a constructive conversation would not be had. So when he started to raise his voice, I told him to check the table and hung up. I had left a letter to him communicating how much I was hurt about going out of my way for him and to not have any sort of reciprocation. He called me later and said he would try to be better and work on it. I ended up going to get his daughter during the week so they could enjoy a dinner together. Background info: he drives big rig trucks, so the vehicle we use for everyday travel is mine. He's been better about the gifts. It's more of a go pick something out and I will pay for it, which I really don't mind. He does the same thing with his daughter. I do all the shopping for his family gifts when it comes to birthdays and holidays. Cut to a week before Christmas and I wake up to my favourite coffee drink and my husband taking me out to eat for breakfast, followed by a trip to the mall to pick out my Christmas gift. I rarely splurge on myself when it comes to purses and clothes. I have a preteen son from my first marriage, so I tend to be a bit more practical on myself and spend on him for his birthday and Christmas. My stepdaughter, however, is very materialistic and always is asking for money or something expensive, and between her father and his family and her mother and her family and his stepfather, she always gets it. I had been repeatedly saying out loud that I needed a new pair since mine was hanging on by a thread, and had decided to invest in a good designer handbag. I started saving money and looking online for my new dream purse. So imagine my surprise and excitement when we get to the department store and I see they have my dream purse in stock. My husband sort of gave a look when he saw the price and I told him I could contribute and explained how I had been saving so I could save enough to get this purse that I had been dreaming about for months. He shook his head and said I deserved it and he would get it for me, but also gave me the expectation that since he was getting me this, he really couldn't afford to get me anything else. I screamed with delight and told him that was okay, I didn't need anything else. With that taken care of, my husband asked me if it was okay to go get his daughter and take her Christmas shopping. I had tons to do at home in preparation for the holiday, so this worked out so I could have the house empty to get what I needed done. I was reaching to get my new purse when we arrived home and he said to me to leave it because he had another gift he had previously purchased for me that he was going to put inside the purse for me to open on Christmas. I was on cloud 9, so I kissed him and left my bag and went inside. I was still busy cleaning and decorating when he got home later that night, and the rest of the days before Christmas were all a blur with me trying to get my house ready no, and then he turned back to his daughter and told her that her father had no right to give her my purse, and that she needed to give it back, to which she refused. I could feel my anger raging, then subsiding to a feeling of sadness and complete defeat. I put my coat over my head and leaned against the window, trying to cover my face and mouth as tears started running down my cheeks. My husband pulled over at the next gas station, and his daughter bolted out, taking her purse with her. He tried to comfort me, to which I slapped his hand away and told him not to touch me and gave him a look of disgust. He informed me that after he dropped me off that day, he picked up his daughter, took her shopping, and on the way taking her home, she noticed the bag and saw the purse. She begged and pleaded with him to please let her have it. She reminded him about all the times he never got her a gift, and how giving her this purse was make up for it, and that played on his heart, and he finally caved and gave him my purse. He tried to say he was going to make it up to me, and I asked him how, knowing it was impossible. He already spent his money, and made it clear that he wasn't going to have money to buy me anything else. I couldn't help but get upset as I tried to get him to understand how hurt I felt, and how it's not like she was suffering with her getting to open presents from her mother and stepfather, plus gifts from her family, along with the gifts she was going to get from his family, and that he had already spent money on her for Christmas presents, and that was my one gift. I know Christmas is not about getting presents, but I was extremely upset that my husband could be so thoughtless and not consider the amount of pain this was going to cause me. His phone rang and it was his daughter, calling from inside, asking him to come inside because she needed money to buy something. As he was walking into the store, I looked back and tears began to fill my eyes as I saw all the gifts that I picked out for his family with care. Something came over me and I stopped crying and got out and got in the driver's seat and wiped my face and peeled out of the gas station parking lot, leaving my husband and stepdaughter behind. I turned off my phone and drove back to town and spent the day with my family at my cousin's house and stayed with them, not returning any of my husband's phone calls and not returning home until late the following day. The only phone call I did return was one from my stepdaughter's mother to set her straight after she left me a hateful message about leaving her daughter stranded because I was jealous. Her father bought her a new purse. I told her she had been told a lie and informed her of the truth. That, in fact, her father did not buy her a new purse. He bought me a new purse and she played on her father's emotions after he had already bought her expensive items from her Christmas list to guilt him to giving her my purse. She apologized and tried to come up with a solution, to which I replied for her to not bother. The damage has been done. I found out through my sister-in-law that my husband's brother went to go get them, and the story came out later that evening. His mother is on his side, while his brother and sister-in-law and other aunts and uncles sided with me and got on to his daughter. I have not spoken to his daughter since Christmas, and things are unsettling at home. I have become more distant from my husband, and when I make dinner, I don't serve him a plate. I serve only my son and myself, and I only engage in conversation with my son. He has tried to reach for me at night when we are in bed, and I always end up